great day. Welcome to the House of Masculinity. I'm Black Jack. Hey, it's Sunday, April 9, 2023. Tribe up, peace to the tribe. Salute to all monogamous worldwide. Salute. We about to get into the show tonight, y'all. Hit the like, subscribe, share the video. If you want to support monetarily, you can hit us up at the Cash App. We got at the top of the screen, cash.app/$ House of Masculinity. Salute. And speaking of support, we got to send a special shout out to the sister Jackie Salah. Jackie Salah showing support, showing much love for day one. Monaga down from day one. Hey, Jackie Salah with $25 Cash App, y'all. She sponsored the show. It wouldn't have been the show without Jackie. Hey, cause I was about to just wrap it up and get on ready for work tomorrow. Jackie hit me up on the Cash App. I said, you know what, Black Jack? Biatch. Get your ass to work, Black Jack. Don't be acting like old chump out here. Jackie done hit you with a $25 Cash App. You big dummy. Get your ass to work. So I said, you know what? Let me put in some work. Salute to Jackie Salah, y'all. And if you ain't know, tonight we talking Hail Zeus. Hail Zeus or Jesus. Hey Zeus. Jesus, hey Zeus, right? Is Jesus really Zeus? That's the title of the night show. And but before we get into it, before we get into all that, I want to say something. I know I've been going ham lately. You know what I'm saying? But guess what, y'all? It's all entertainment. It's all like just teaching some truth about history. I don't mean to offend nobody for real. I know some of us, we got blended families. Even myself, I got people in my family that's intermarried with Europeans. You know, so I talk shit on here, but I don't mean to hurt nobody's feelings though. So if I hurt your feelings, I apologize. Salute. But yeah, you know, Moses did say the Israelites was a mixed multitude. So, you know, don't be too offended by the stuff I say on here, y'all. Tribe up, Monaga. Hey, but tonight we talking, is Jesus really Zeus? And I ain't no Christian. If you a Christian, I don't even mean no offense. We just gonna dig on some real history. Cause guess what? We dangerous. So let's get to reading, y'all. Y'all know we like to read. But my sound, let me get my sound right though before we start reading. Let's make sure we got our sound right. Before we start reading, let's make sure we got our sound right, y'all.
Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you.
Use a real knocker, put a feather up in the chat. Tribe up, my naga, put your bows and arrows up. Put a bow and arrow in the chat, my naga. And they scared of us. They try to dumb my naga down, but we level up. Yeah. Everybody stricken from my nagas. Jesus really Zeus.
I remember when they were marching, people started screaming in the suburbs, back to Africa with them, back to
Jesus
back to Africa with who?
That's what we talking tonight, y'all.
Shit, I ain't never in Africa. You know, send me home, send me to St. Louis, Missouri. 4461 in right, top floor.
Africa, in the chat, put a feather in the chat.
$750 Moab suits and alligator shoes.
Get that
right. That's not hunting garb. I'm here all the way.
Alright, y'all ready? We're gonna get into it. Let's get into it. Before we start talking about though Jesus and Zeus, I know some of y'all getting y'all Easter egg hunt on. You out there with your little Easter bunny, your little Ishtar bunny. But do you know what you're doing, Monaga? Before we talk about is Jesus really Zeus and these pagan religions and these pagan gods that you worship in Monaga, let's take a look at Ishtar or Easter. And we on Scientific American, Anthropology and Practice. Beyond Ishtar, the tradition of Easter, of eggs at Easter, beyond Ishtar. Ishtar. If you don't know who Ishtar is, we finna talk about it. You know what I'm saying? You little niglet. You know what I'm saying? Are you worshiping Ishtar? Are you worshiping a pagan god? Are you worshiping Zeus? Before we talk about Zeus, we're gonna talk about Ishtar. Since it's Ishtar Sunday. So let's get into it. And it said, don't believe every meme you encounter. That's what they say, right? It said eggs occupy special status during Easter observance. They're symbols of rebirth and renewal. Life bursts forth from this otherwise plain, inanimate object that gives no hint as to what it contains. In this regard, it is a handy symbol for the resurrection of Zeus, Christ. But it is a symbol that has held this meaning long before Christianity adopted it. There is a meme floating around Facebook that some people have rallied around and are sharing as a truth of Easter. It proclaims Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Syrian and Babylonian Babylon.
You big dummy.
Syrian and Babylon, huh? You know, they talk about it as a meme. There's some truth to that. That ain't no meme, that's the truth. The Syrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex, Easter eggs, fertility. Her symbols like the egg and bunny were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection, the so-called resurrection? After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Zeus, Jesus. But at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, is all about celebrating fertility and sex. Alright, Ishtar, you know, pagan goddess. Let's see who is Ishtar. Who is Ishtar? Before we go here, let's pull up Ishtar. Let's pull up Ishtar. So I'll let y'all see who Ishtar is. In case you ain't know about Ishtar, why you celebrating Ishtar Sunday? Ishtar, a multifaceted goddess. Ishtar takes three paramount. Hold on, I thought in Christianity, I thought Zeus was the god. Also, okay, Easter Sunday though is a multifaceted goddess. Ishtar takes three paramount forms. She is the goddess of love and sexuality, and thus fertility. She is responsible for all life, but she is never a mother goddess. As the goddess of war, she is often shown winged and bearing arms. Ishtar. Ishtar Sunday, right? Yeah. Paganism and Christianity, right? Before we get to talking to Zeus, we're going to talk a little more about Ishtar and this paganism. Paganism and Christianity. And we right here on ucg.org. By the way, I'm Blackjack, if you ain't know.
You big dummy.
Hey, say many aspects of traditional Christianity, holidays, practices, and doctrines came not from Christ or the Bible, Christ, Zeus, or the Bible, but from ancient pagan religion. Zeus is pagan. What do you mean? Zeus is a pagan. But anywho, any Naga, that's neither here nor there. Let's keep continuing. It says right here in these pics. Let's read the inscription under the pics before we move on. It says the first is the Celtic festival, and we just talking paganism. It said the Druidic winter solstice, and say the Babylonian Ishtar from Babylon, right? Salute.
You big dummy.
Ishtar, Easter. And then it says the Egyptian Osiris, right? It say the traditional holidays with their annual rituals. Y'all doing rituals out here.
You big dummy.
I ain't doing no rituals, man. I ain't tribing up on no rituals, my naga. They say, where did all these traditions and practices come from? Celebrated as Christian holidays. These rituals. Halloween costumes, Christian decorations, Ishtar bunnies. You got your little kids looking for Ishtar eggs. Shouldn't these occasions be faithful to what the Bible says? What, King James? After they hijacked the Naga? Yeah, they talking about your little pagan holidays. I don't even gotta read all this. Christmas, Zeusmas. You got Halloween, you got Ishtar, Y'all just y'all little niggas, you little niggas. You just out here getting your fancy on, you frolicking on Ishtar. Now let's talk about Christ and Zeus though. Since we talking pagan gods, since we talking Ishtar and pagan gods and paganism, let's talk about Christianity. Since we talking paganism, we talking Zeus, Christ and Zeus. Right now we on explorecrete.com. Archaeology, mythology, and history of Crete. Zeus and Crete. Okay. Minoan Christmas. We all know the story of how Zeus was born in a manger when animals whose breath and bodies offered some warmth in the frozen cave. According to Orthodox tradition. What kind of cave Zeus was born in? Zeus was born in a cave? What, the Caucasus Mountains? What the hell? What am I reading here? According to the Orthodox tradition, he was in a cave. He had the warmth of the animals. But how many of us know that this story is not original, but had also taken place many centuries earlier in ancient Greece, specifically on the island of Crete? According to Greece mythology, Zeus, or Zeus, the father of the gods of Olympus, was born in the cave on Crete. No myth gives the precise location of the cave. Hesiod's Theogony, for instance, refers to a cave near the ancient city of Lactos in the south central Crete. This led to confusion, and so today there are two contenders for the title of Zeus's birthplace: the Idion Cave of Mount Ida, or Salaritis near the village of Anoia, and the Dictyon Cave on Mount Dicte near the village of Psychro on the Lasithi Plateau. In both caves, excavations have brought archaeologists' finds to light, showing that these were important cult places. Oh, Zeus was born in a cult place. Okay, the cave and a cult place. But there is not enough evidence to choose one of the two as the birthplace of Zeus. Similarities between the stories of Christ and Zeus. Zeus was born in a cave on Crete. Christ was born in a cave they claim in Israel.
You big dummy.
That was a lie. Zeus was born in a cave to hide from his father, Cronus. Christ is the head of the Christian church. Christ was born in a cave to hide from Herod. The goat, Amalthea, and a swarm of bees accompanied the newborn God and offered him nourishment during his early years. Animals offered warmth to the baby Jesus in the cave. According to the variations of these myths, right? The certain myths, unlike those on the rest of Greece, relate that Zeus died and was reborn each year. Christ was crucified, died, and was resurrected. Similarities between Zeus and Christ. Peace to George Wishes III. Peace to Kurt Pruitt. Salute. Hey, subscribe button, Monaga. Salute. Shalom. Hey, Zeus and Christ, right? Jesus. Hey Zeus. You heard this? You heard those the new Spanish people? They be like, hey Zeus. Yeah, Zeus. Right? Hail Zeus. Yeah. Hail Zeus, Monaga. And while we hailing Zeus, let me show y'all something. Cause they got you Nagas. That's how they got you Nagas into slavery. You say give them Zeus, make them worship Zeus. Take that Old Testament Hebrew shit from them and give them the new King James version.
You big dummy.
Or else perpetual slavery. And right now we're looking at Papal Bull, Dum Diversus, June 18, 1452. Pope Nicholas V issued the Papal Bull, Dum Diversus, on the 18th of June, 1452. It authorized Alfonso V of Portugal to reduce any Saracen and pagan and other non-believers to perpetual slavery, right? Perpetual slavery. They say you better believe in Zeus. They came all on the Naga land out of the past. Indian slave trade comes to Florida, right? Editors note, the state celebrates Viva La Florida this year. This is the fifth of several articles on the Spanish missions in Florida. The Spanish missions? Oh, Zeus. The Zeus missions in Florida, huh? Conditions began crumbling for Florida's Spanish missions. in the late 1600s with the Indian slave trade, not African, the Indian slave trade, the Indian. And let's remember when we say Indian, we talking the Naga. When we say Indian, the right here on Pleasures of the Smoke, you know, one of our favorite reads, Black Virginians, it says only a few written accounts of tobacco hinted at the physical dominance of Atlantic peoples in England and tobacco plantations. A 1716 poem on tobacco linked Baca's discovery and consumption of tobacco to his ability to subdue the Indians. Subdue the Indians, huh? Subdue the Indians. Nappy-headed Indian nigger, black, Negro, mulatto color with his loincloth on. They were subduing the Indian for his tobacco. Subdue him. Subdue the Indian, right? Yeah. Subdue the Indian, my dog. Subdue him. Slay the Indian. Slay the Naga. Yeah, conditions began crumbling in Florida Spanish mission in the late 60s. It actually dated back through centuries, although the practice was new in this part of the country. It says many thought Indian slavery was something new. They thought it was new, but it actually dated back through centuries, right? That's what they say, through centuries. They've been enslaving the Indians, right? Let's scroll down some. In 1675, the Spanish governor of Florida received word from a Chusca Indian chief and a friar in the Mariana section. They warned that an unusual activity was taking place among the English in North Georgia and on the ship from Charleston, intent on spying on the Appalachian garrison. Charleston, which began as Charlestown, welcomed English colonists and groups from Barbados who desired to live in peace with those affiliated with the missions. They wanted to trade with Spain and had no desire to make slaves of the Indians of the Carolinas or the Spanish Indians. Right? That's what they say, right? But two important events soon took place to increase the Indian slave policy in the Southeast, according to the Florida Anthropology, June 1967. The majority of Carolina settlers who migrated from Barbados came from a country where Indians were enslaved. You know, the sugar plantations, and forced to work on sugar plantations in the Barbados. All the Nagas in the Barbados, Indian slave. They told you were descendants of Africa. They told you were ADOS. You were a descendant of an Indian, fool. You ain't from Africa. In the Barbados. It say from a country where Indians were enslaved and forced to work on sugar plantation. They were accustomed to slavery, and those who contemplated joining this horrible business found it produced quick profits and riddance of any threatening Indians, not Africans, threatening Indians. Indian slavery approved, right? At these missions. In 1671, at these Christian ministers, you better learn about Zeus. It said in 1671, the Carolina colony passed an act permitting Indian slavery. 1671, Indian slavery, not African. Soon, militiamen were busy capturing Indians who could not protect themselves. Between 1680 to 1702, the Westos along the Uchis and Cherokees seized Spanish mission Indians living in Georgia, extreme northeast Florida. That's where I live, in northeast Florida, and South Carolina. Got family in South Carolina and Georgia. So y'all was snatching up the Nagas from the Christian missions in Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, and you was enslaving them. They either sold these Indians or traded their captives for European goods, especially guns and ammunition. You sold them into slavery. Who you sold into slavery? You sold the Indians into slavery. Who was the Indians? The Negroes. Like this right here, like this West Indian scene from 1795. That's who they talking about. The Negroes, the niggers, circa 1795. Yeah, that's who you enslaved. The niggers, the nappy-headed niggers with feathers on, the Indians. That's who you enslaved. All you ADOS, you American descendants of slavery. It said subdue the Indians, subdue the nappy-headed nigger, subdue him. That's what they said. Subdue that nigger and make him work the sugar cane plantations in the Barbados. Subdue the nigger, subdue the Indian. See that? Subdue the Indian, subdue the Indian. Right there at the bottom, last sentence. Subdue the Indian. Subdue this nappy-headed ass nigger Indian.
You big dummy.
How much proof y'all need, man? How much proof y'all need in your Zeus churches and missions? They played games with the Hebrew. The enslavement of California Indians by the Spanish missions. Come on in. Come on in. Put a little bit in the plate. We got Zeus in the house. Please come on in. Come on in here with Zeus. Yeah. Bow down to Zeus.
You big dummy.
I know some people might not like this, because I know some people Christians. But you know what? We got to talk truth over here. We ain't going to duck the truth. Salute. Let's scroll down to it. It says, and we right now, we on churchandstate.org.uk. Americans for Religious Liberty Journal. Yeah. It says, with the impending visit of Pope Francis to the U.S. and Vatican canonization of Junipero Serra, this 5-star book is timely and important. But before reviewing it, let me quote from my column in the current issue of Free Inquiry magazine. Alright, I don't want to fuck his quote. Let's talk about your book, though. Alright. Elias Castillo's remarkable book starts with a concise history of Spain's brutal conquest, colonization of the Americas, followed by a detailed, well-researched, documented account of the chain of Franciscan missions in California started by the Spanish friar Junipero Serra in 1769. Under Serra's leadership, California's numerous small Indian tribes, tribelets or niglets, were induced or herded into 21 missions. They herded these niglets into 21 missions. There, they were forcibly converted, brutalized, and essentially enslaved. Their native cultures wiped out. And say you wipe these Nagas culture out, you are now officially a nigga.
Biatch. You big dummy.
Hey man, it's real history, y'all. You know, they use Zeus to get you in there. They softened you up. They say butter them up with Zeus. Teach them to turn the other cheek. Violence is not the other way. Violence is not the way, Managa. Get on bended knee, worship Zeus, and everything will be okay. You know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You know, love your enemy, Managa. It softened you up, Managa. It gave you Zeus. I mean, it is what it's the truth. It is what it is. It say, cause the Papa Bull told us. The Papa Bull. It say in the Papa Bull. Doom diverses, Papa Bull. It say we, weighing all and singular, the premises with due mediation, and nothing that since we have formally by other letters of ours granted among other things free and ample faculty to the aforesaid King Alfonso to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans. Oh, you worshiping Zeus, you pagan. Subdue those Saracens and pagans. Subdue those niggas. Subdue the niglets. Subdue the Indians. Subdue the nigger Indian into perpetual slavery. Subdue the pagan. Subdue the Negro. Subdue the blackie. Yeah, subdue them. Let me get back to the picture just to bring the point home. Subdue the Indian. Subdue them. Subdue the Indian. See that? Subdue the nigger, subdue the niglet, subdue the niggar, subdue the Indian, right? Doom diverses, subdue them. And their enemies of Christ wherever place the kingdoms, dukedoms, principalities, dominions, possessions, and all movable and immovable goods whatsoever held and possessed by them, and to reduce their persons into perpetual slavery. And they got you talking about Africa. They get you talking, call yourself an African American. Man, you better wake up, man. Y'all better wake up, Managa. Your life, your children's life depend on this. It's easy to see a book a day, keep a dummy away. You big dummy. Keep your third eye open. Don't open no third eye mind tricks. They say perpetual slavery. They say subdue them. Subdue the pagans. Subdue Saracens. Subdue the Indian. Subdue them in the perpetual slavery. Subdue him. Subdue. Are you feeling subdued, my nigga? You gotta get up for work in the morning, don't you? You big dummy. You ADOS. You American descendant of slavery. You ADOS, right? It ain't hard to tell, man. It ain't hard to figure out, man. These folks, they done the number on us. We gonna break the spell. It ain't hard. We'll do it one nigga at a time. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little nigglets. We'll do 1 little niglet at a time, my nigga. I guarantee you, any American nigga come over here on the hardest Pan-African vibe, come over here and you see truth, my nigga, you gonna change your tone. So we ain't got nothing to hide over here. We ain't spitting nothing but facts, straight truth. They subdued you, my nigga. Hey, I'm Blackjack. This house of masculinity, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Respect my house. Or we'll let the doughnut hit your ass where the Most High split your ass. We out. Peace.
It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were
Stay dangerous, Monogamy. Stay dangerous. Use a real naga, throw a feather up. Tribe up, my naga, put your bows and arrows up. The stronghold of the naga ain't they scared of us. They try to dumb my naga down, but we leveled up. Yeah. Strictly for my nagas.
Africa. I mean, when they were marching, people started screaming in the suburbs, back to Africa with them. I said, back to Africa with who? You big dummy. Shit, I ain't never in Africa. Don't send me home, send me to St. Louis, Missouri. 4461 Enright, top floor. Africa, what the hell I look like? Standing in the jungle with a $750 Moab suit and some alligator shoes. That's not hunting garb. I'm here all the way.